Uh, eh, nah, 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 I don't care. I don't really care. Right, so that's pretty much it for me, I guess. By the way, under what condition may Flakes ban me? Yeah, absolute no ban policy, yeah. Because I don't want to silence people. Well, timeout is when we need to remove some details. If it's a private information, we need to timeout. But Flakes has been abusing that privilege. Just like, you know, her race abuses everything else. You know? You know? But yeah, no bans. No bans. What race are you? Are you asking me, Cruz, or are you asking Flakes? Flakes? Well, you can kind of guess, right? The way I've been talking, you can kind of guess. Wait, what? Cruz is saying abusing other races. Black? Flake says think of the worst fucking race in existence. Whatever Cookie is like, I guess. That's right. That's right. I wasn't talking about that kind of race. As it says, well, Flakes is Canadian. Alright, Chris says, imagine whites abusing other races. After Asians, they have it the worst, statistically speaking. Do they? I don't think Asians went through anything worse than slavery. I don't know. I don't know. For example, Goose. For example, how would you support that statement? I shouldn't. Yeah, I should stop drinking energy drink. I need to get to sleep soon. I gotta sleep soon. Ever heard of the concept of linear time? Oh, you're saying nowadays it's not the worst thing to go through because no one has gone through at this day and age. Is what you're saying? Am I wrong? Yeah, Flake says white privilege is very real. There are more slaves now than ever. The population is also higher, but shh. Well, there's still human trafficking, right? There's sex slaves. And in Africa, there's black people enslaving black people. Like, slave exists almost everywhere around the world, but they just don't really stand out as an issue, as a societal issue. Because there's so many other stuff going on, like, you know, this group of people are beheading whoever they take hostage, and, you know, like, there's the economical war as well that people are worrying about because people care about their own money more than people being abused, I guess. Yeah, let's not get too serious here though. Alright, Kurs is saying whites after Asians have it the most hard to get into universities. Whites are killed after Asians more often than any other race compared to their homicide rates. Name one example of whites abusing others or Asians. Excuse me. As in, wait, hold on. Are you saying that? Wait, I'm completely lost now. What was the statement that you were trying to make? Yeah, Flake says the slave trade, the Holocaust, to name one that immediately comes to mind. Yeah, if we're talking about skin tones, yeah, like in Holocaust, whites abused whites, yeah. You're not wrong there. That's what racism is all about, the past. I think the racism is about the physical difference, right? Holocaust was whites against everyone else. Well, Hitler was saying what? People with blonde hair and blue eyes were the superior race or something, right? Isn't that what the whole thing was? Well, the whole goal was to remove the people who weren't blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Isn't it? Yeah, Kus is saying they killed very little people based on race except for Jews. And Hazardous is saying no you. Alright, so Flake says they killed everybody who didn't fit the profile. Alright, Kus says Holocaust is killing people, not... Huh? Hold on, discrimination. Discrimination overall? Right? Is what you wanted to say? Yeah, Hazardous is saying, I think you're making a dumb argument. And Flake says, if there was a black man, he would have been killed by Nazis. Because that's why neo-Nazis exist, right? Because, the dislike towards black people? Because the whole motto for Nazis are to remove people who aren't blonde hair and blue eyes. Is what I remember. I could be wrong. And why the fuck is the music so loud? Shush! There, that's better. Okay. So Kus was saying, okay, to get back on track, name one example of whites abusing other race nowadays. Oh, excuse me. Nowadays, I guess the Arabs? Kus? And don't Arabs count as Asians? Or is that just generalizing too much? Hazardous is saying Kus really trying to defend whites and it's getting weird. Well, Kus is I don't think he's trying to defend the white people. I think he's just arguing against the idea of white people abusing other races nowadays. Yeah, and Flake says I can't have this conversation. I'm trying to enjoy a meal right now. Right. Yeah, so Kus was asking, yeah, name one example of white people abusing other races, and Flake says Asians. Kus says yes, or Asians. A Muslim concentration camp in China right now, says Flakes. Kus says Arabs counts as Asians, but I don't count them as such. I feel like the culture is far too different to classify them as Asians, but genetically and continentally speaking, they are, right? Yeah, Hazardous is saying, I think trying to blame or defend a whole race don't work though. America's being dicks to Mexicans, but you can't say that's only whites, so yeah. Historically speaking, white people has always gone too far. Historically speaking. But now, excluding America, because Americans, you know, stepping on every kind of soil, like whenever they get the chance, right? Yeah, excluding America, I don't think white people has been as bad as people say they have been. Maybe, yeah. Remove Britain as well. Remove UK. Like, Scottish people are great, Irish people are great. Yeah, like Norwegians, Swedish, Canadians. They're fantastic. You don't really hear bad things about them so far. You can't be too sure. Yeah, I guess whatever country that feels more powerful than the other starts fucking up, I guess. So I don't think it's about races, I think it's just about which team you're playing in. Because I think Guro raised... No, Guro didn't raise a point. Guro mentioned something in the past, I think, about this one Asian guy that was pro-Nazi, which was a fucking amazingly fascinating concept. Yeah, what's this? Flake says, how can you have an example of Asians in the Western world when most Asians are in Asia? And Hazardous says, that's why it's a dumb argument, Koos. And Koos says, okay, then Muslims aren't a race. Yeah, haven't heard an example yet. Well, I did mention Arabs, right? People who lives in Arabia, they are a race, aren't they? Wait, what are their races? Are they Asians or Arabs? I don't even know anymore. They are Arabs, right? They're on their own, right? Abusing other races now. Sorry. Koos is saying, name one example of whites or Asians anywhere abusing other races nowadays on a somewhat large scale. Right. I know China and Korea is beefing with Japan because of what Japan did in the past. And yeah, there's that whole incident of China flying over Japanese territory just because they feel like they own the island. But Japan also feels like they own the island. So that's the whole argument of, you know, like, by agreement in the UN, that island belongs to Japan, but China doesn't agree. So yeah, that's the beef. But I don't think it's an abuse. We're talking about abuse here, like an extreme form of aggression towards another race. Another race. Yeah, Flakes of saying the concentration camps in China, Koos, but yeah, that's a religion though. Like, China's always been like that. Whenever there's like a strange religion that pops up that they don't agree with, they try to remove it physically. Which is really scary. And yeah, I don't get to talk about these things in front of Jelly because Jelly gets sensitive over this topic because she likes to defend her own country. She's very proud of being Chinese and she doesn't like being, you know, like, she doesn't like the title being tainted. The title of being Chinese, right? And it's a natural instinct. Like, in the West, it's so common to, like, give and take an insult about your own country. Because, in a way, you're kind of kidding, but not kidding at the same time. Because you know what your flaws are, right? But Asia's all about pride. And, yeah, nationalism, I guess. They're very competitive. And Flakes is gonna eat. Still listening. Okay. No problem. Get that food in you. Yeah. Alright, so Koos is saying not based on a race. That's what I'm talking about. If it ain't based on a race, I don't care right now. Excuse me. Hazardous was saying, so the Holocaust wasn't racist because they Jewish? And Koos says, huh? Israelites are a race though. Is that what they're called? I'm learning new words today. Alright, so Hazardous is saying, what you think's Hong Kong then, Shy? I mean, it's easy, but still. Yeah, I guess that is an Chinese oppression towards their own people, right? Is that racist? Because Hong Kong is trying to separate themselves from the mother country, just like America was doing with the UK, right? Do you consider British people and American people a different race? I guess it comes down to that. If you want to think about them as a different race, like Hong Kong and China as different race, then we have to consider if Americans and British are a different race. I consider Brits Europeans, but America came out of there though. So wouldn't that make Americans Europeans? No, that's not right. By definition, Americans are just people who lives in America. The British descendants, the white people in America. You know, I always hated when people say according to the statistics or by looking at this statistics or etc etc. Yeah, it's data, but I don't know how accurate that is. Cause you're taking a poll from whom? Like, who did they ask? You mean any reliable statistic? How can you confirm that they're reliable though? I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way when people mention statistics. Cause Ben Shapiro does that too, and who does it the most? Fuck, I forgot his name. Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder? The guy who recently got into trouble this year for having a go at this gay guy. Yeah, he says that a lot. Like, by following this statistics, etc, etc, etc. Where's the statistics that he's mentioning? I want to have a look at that too, right? But I don't care enough to have a look, of course. But, you know. I don't like the guy. I just generally don't like the guy. So, yeah, I should not continue further with this topic. We should get back to what we were talking about. Yeah, Koos is saying that's why you look at the percentage, not total numbers. I mean any reliable statistics. For example, Pew Research, as in Pew News. wait, I've never heard of that one before. The gold standard for research nowadays. Crowder is a big baka. Yup. I mean, he's good at arguing with people and like overshouting people. But when he gets overshouted, he's like, you know, all offended and everything. He's funny. I like watching him. Isn't he a comedian? Yeah, Koos is saying, I look pretty white though. Alright, so let's go with Flakes here. Koos, what nationality are you? Koos was saying, I look pretty white though. And Flake says, I'd like to mention the discrimination towards all non-white people of America from their police force and their own president. Right, because the authorities look at them like they don't belong in the country. Right? That's where the whole Black Lives Matter movement comes from. Isn't that correct? Hazardous is saying, I think acting like whites have it harder don't work for a good debate. Well, if you're talking generally, right? If we're talking generally, white people have it easier in their own nation. Oh, in their own dominant nation. You're not wrong there. But no, I don't think so, Sha. What do you mean? Yeah, but that's generally speaking though. Because you can't speak for people on an individual level. But that's not what we're talking about, right? But I can't help but not ignore the amount of white people that has it hard. Who is actually living an honest life, who is actually struggling like the minorities, and gets ignored because they're white. Like, any of their life troubles gets disregarded because they're white. So I think if we talk about, like, white people like that, like if we generalize them and talk about them like that, we forget about those people as well. And we also, know how that feels, right? Like being the minority and being discriminated. There's I don't know. I just like to be really careful when it comes to like rounding people up. Like I joke about it a lot just because it's a joke, right? But I'm really careful when it comes to generalizing people, because there's no such thing as a norm. Flakes is saying the amount of black people that are shot for being black, yeah, because of suspicions and everything. Koos is saying to Flakes here, let me talk about the police brutality thing, because I have no idea what you refer to with the president. White cops shoot black just as often black cops do. It's not about race, it's about being I don't know, it feels wrong. I'll say it anyway. Being way more dangerous to police force, and thus them being more inclined to shoot. Well, I think the history plays into that too, right? Because black people feels like they've been dumped into the worst part of the society, to their own doom, so that they don't really benefit from the economic growth, etc. They don't really get much out of what they do, and that's why they turn to violence, they turn to crime, because they pay more. Isn't that how it works? And then that becomes their culture. So police starts generalizing them, right? And then the whole war began between the gangs and the minorities who joined the gangs and the police force. Well, that's what I know anyway. That's how far I know about this. That's how far I know. That's how much I know. I need some sleep. But I'm really interested in this topic. I want to continue this. Hazardous is saying, cops don't have to be white to be racist. Uncle Tom, right? The infamous Uncle Tom. Yeah. They exist. The person who doesn't like their own race exists. Yeah, Flakes is saying, in my country, racism is towards Asians, Arabs, Pakistanis, etc., and Eastern Europeans who are white. The Polish, Lithuanians, etc. That's why the Brexit thing is happening, isn't it? Yeah, Hazardous is saying, plenty of black cops shoot black kids because they discriminate and think dumb things, so they shoot. Flake says, no idea what I refer to with president. So what about we'll build a wall and make them pay for it? Did that happen? Did the wall happen? Because they were so close to getting the funds for it, right? Whatever happened to that? Kus says Trump made Mexico pay for the wall by raising trade taxes and has drastically reduced illegal immigration. Hazardous says, no, they made our shit more expensive. Yeah, they made our shit more expensive too. He says the Coos. And Flake says, are you actually pro-Trump? No, justifying his words. Yeah, I don't think Coos is like taking a stance on anything. Yeah, Coos says black people kill cops way more often than white people do. They are way more dangerous to cops and the general public, and thus it's only logical to be way more careful. And this practice reduces homicide rates by a large margin. Women are more likely to be controlled in shopping Women are more likely to be controlled in shopping centers because they are more likely to steal, and because overall USA profited though. Right, so we're bringing that topic in too, huh? We're going there too, huh? We're diverging past and we're dragging everything in today. Alright, so Hazardous is saying Mexico did the same to us by making our cars expensive as fuck to make theirs. Okay. Oh, sorry, Koos is saying to that, overall USA profited though, and Hazardous says, no they didn't. We paying billions for a wall now. Okay, so America's the one who's funding the wall now. Yeah, Koos says, I don't care about Trump, I don't live in USA, I don't care about that guy. Flake says, black people kills cops more. Even if that's true, don't they have more incentive as cops face a greater threat to black people? It's catch-22. Is anyone really at fault? It's just a cycle of revenge at this point. You know? There's so many cops being killed by the gangs, so they look into the minorities who are in these gangs, because most of the gangs in America is made up of many minorities of different races. Like black people stick to black people and then Asians stick to Asian people. It's really common for them to stick together because they can't rely on the police force and the government and the community that doesn't share the same pain that they do. People are just trying to belong, right? But in process, that also causes them to die because they're afraid of each other. Alright, so Koos is saying the Hazardous here. Haven't heard about that, I'll look into that for sure. From what I know, you're playing wrong. Playing wrong? Okay. And Koos says the flake's definitely true, but why then do they kill way more overall? 13% of the population commit 50% of the homicides. I wouldn't say that's because they face a greater threat. And Hazardous says, oh, it's cause they're being marginalized. And Flake says, you know what I think? That race is a cute part of your person and nothing else. That's very positive of you, Flakes. I'm impressed. Koos is saying, oh, it's because they have less education, less money, less infrastructure. I hate that word. Infrastructure. Yeah, less infrastructure and a different culture. Right. Like says, like your sexuality or gender or whatever the fuck. And Koos says, but it matters to law enforcement to reduce homicide rates, and to be honest, I'm all for that. And that was towards Flakes. Right. Flake says it wasn't open to discussion, Koos. It was that's what I think. Okay. Hazardous song request doesn't work. It does not work. You cannot suggest changing subjects. Yeah, I mean, different opinions, right? Because we stand by our own opinions, especially when we're confident in being that we are right. Yeah, Hazardous, I don't think I'm gonna play Death Stranding. Yeah, I don't know if I can make it entertaining enough. I'm already struggling with Days Gone. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think I want to ride on that train. Yeah, I mean, there's really no solving this problem, this race issue, if you can't look at things from a third-person view, you know? From outside of the box. Because people are so caught up in protecting what they know and following what they believe in and not exactly solving the problem. Because the temporary problem is far more easier to achieve than a permanent solution. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Temporary solution is far more easier to achieve than permanent solution. Yeah. Except for when it comes to suicide. Yeah, it's just a temporary permanent solution to a temporary problem, so don't even. Don't do it, guys. Stay alive for those who love you and will love you in the future. Yeah. Hazardous says, you should play Always Sometimes Monsters. I know that game. Cry was playing that. Cryotic. I've seen it. I don't know what other ways you could play that game. I want to check it out, but I don't know if I can make that entertaining either. And I know it's tedious. Some parts are very tedious. Kuz is saying, in short, I don't believe anybody except for Asians and whites face discrimination based on race alone in EU, US. That's it. Excuse me. Right. So. Nothing's going into my head right now. It is currently almost 5 AM in Brisbane City, Australia, 17th of November 2019. Oof. It's a tough topic to discuss, especially when I'm being awake all day. Yeah, I don't feel smart at the moment. Yeah. But this is the kind of tea that I like to sip on, you know? Cause like through these kind of topics, I get to learn a bit more about, you know, each of you, like how you think about certain things. Yeah. Yeah, but you can't disregard what black people experience, though. But yeah, that's the hill that Kuz is willing to die on, I guess. Because, you know, the outrage in Hong Kong, there must be a reason why people are reacting that way. Black Lives Matter, there must be a reason why black people are acting that way. Like, outrages like that, on a big scale, there's always a reason that caused that. But some people are just refusing to believe that there is a cause. They just feel like they want to have it easy. As in, you know, like the people who are discriminating feels like the discriminee wants to have it easy because they don't really, you know, they're living a good life, and what they struggle with is the standard of what they think other people struggle with. Am I right or am I right? Because we can't really relate on anything unless we've experienced the same thing together. Am I right or am I right? Am I making a point? Nope. Am I right or am I right? Alright, so Hazardous is saying, yeah, he can stupidity has ended many combos. Hazardous what? I'm sorry. Alright. Flakes is saying, everyone faces racism, every race. I agree on that. Akus is saying, on a large scale. Well, now white people are facing racism, in my opinion. In my opinion, white people are now facing racism. They're being generalized, they're being treated like a small margin of people now. They're told to feel guilty now. And kids are going to grow up being taught that now. Because it's like a trend online to make white people feel guilty. And that's going to invoke something ugly in those kids, and eventually they'll grow up thinking, why do I have to feel this way? And then another racism start. This is what I don't like about the culture right now. But I don't think overall any race except for Asians and whites face discrimination. Of course they do on a single basis, but on average they don't, says Kuz. Alright, so Flake says whether black people being shot is for the greater good, for homicide rates or not, surely it's still discrimination? Flakes, can you start using comma? I'm fucking confused now. Alright, Flakes also says they're still being singled out. Kuz says, that's not what I said, and I'd like you to prove that they're still being singled out. I think black people has a way of defending themselves now by making this public, making the attack public. And the society is taking their side because they know that black people are being abused from what they see. But at this point, I don't know. Sometimes I see things that doesn't really belong in that category. Just because some people want attention. And they want to feel good about themselves and they want to feel powerful. So sometimes they fake things and that pretty much ruins the entire message. Just like sometimes, you know, women does fake like a rape accusation, you know? And it sucks that that happens, but sometimes it does happen and that pretty much ruins it for the rest of female, you know, community. Hold up. Kuz says that's not what I said and I'd like you to prove that they're still being singled out. Hazardous says homicide rates by police. Kuz says from what I can tell, as a half black with a purely black circle of friends at my workplace, everybody is treated as if they're black. Could it be that you have it good compared to the rest of the black people? Because you can't really form your opinion, form this type of opinion based on your own experience, and only your own experience though. But you're also mentioning the statistics. Alright, let me continue. Flakes is saying they're being singled out once they're identified as black people and then shot because of it. Hazardous says also conviction rates. Flake says okay, it'd be really great for my sanity if you shut the fuck up, Cruz. Alright, so Hazardous says more blacks are being in prison than whites in America, yet they take up 13% at the pop, right? Yeah. Cruz is saying yet they commit 50% of homicides. Yeah, I mean, if they're the only ones being arrested, yeah. That's what the statistics would look like. I think that's the point that Hazardous is trying to make, yeah. Cause, you know, some races get a leeway. Especially if they look a certain race. Yeah, Flakes is saying, is that perhaps Kuz? Because they're being separated from the other half of society. Yeah, and Kuz continues there, that's no proof by the way. And true, that was towards Flakes. but based on other aspects than race. Flake says, if they were treated as white people, and given the same opportunities in education and etc., there would be less homicides. And Koo says blacks suffer on a large scale, but not because they're black. They do because of the things I mentioned before. As in crime? Yeah. Hazardous is saying there are no other aspects than race though. That's a stigma. Excuse me. God, I gotta stop. we're having a serious conversation. Yeah, Koos is saying, or it's because they have less education, less money, less infrastructure, and different culture. Right? And Flake says racism causes violence. Violence causes racism. Never-ending cycle. Yes. Koos is saying, Flakes, I agree. I think I agree with you, but I don't think it's because of race. It comes down to past racism that puts them as a social disadvantage nowadays. So, what are you saying, Koos? You're saying that because of past racism, there's still discrimination happening? Hold up. Because of past racism, they're being put in a social disadvantage. Meaning they need to resort to what the statistics say they're doing? So who would you say is at fault then in that case? But I guess it's not that simple, huh? I'm just trying to understand things from every point of view. Yeah, Flakes is saying, I'm very pro removal of playing the race card, but in the case of America and black people, it is a race issue. Well, majority of the Trump supporters are supporting Trump purely because of his stance. Right? Trump is the guy who's not publicly saying that he's a racist, but the way he treats people, the way he acts around people, he's very clearly discriminatory upon other races that is not white. Because I don't think he has that empathy. Hazardous says, I ain't trying to make no point. All I think is that assuming whites are better or worse, or better off or worse off because the way they look is dumb. There we go. Alright. Fucking crack my neck, crack my fingers. Get ready to read this. Alright. Okay, says, what I'm saying is that because of past racism, blacks nowadays have worse infrastructure, less education, lesser IQ, a personality that's more inclined towards violence, worse jobs, more single motherhood, a worse culture, many gangs that offer social security, etc. On average, blacks have it worse because of past racism, and this disadvantage is reflected in most statistics. Yep. So that point is made clear now. Good. Right. So you're just stating facts at this point. So let me get back to your statement there, what you've said before. Yeah, you don't think overall any race except for Asians and whites face discrimination. Flakes says, do I share a race with Trump? Oh god. So, you're safe, Flakes. You're fine. Alright, so Hazardous is saying, it's like the homophobe that always hates on gays and says, get that gay shit away from me, and actively hates gays, come to find out he's repressing his gay feelings. They secretly want to be what they hate. But yeah, their pride won't let them, I guess. But it's all taught though. Like that kind of behavior is all taught. Because they're taught to not be what people say not to be, right? So they're pretty much a follower at that point. And they're standing by that opinion because they have nothing else to protect. Hey, it's pretty stupid. It's very stubborn, very narrow-minded. Yeah, Kuz is saying, and because I'm no racist, I support law reforms, etc. that improves conditions for such people. But not only blacks, it will turn out to mostly affect black people, but I don't think it has to do with race. So are you saying the situation is improved or not improved? Because it hasn't improved, then they're still facing discrimination. So wait, hold on. I need to understand this correctly because it sounds like you're disapproving your point. Yeah, Kuz is saying Trump was very offensive in the beginning of his campaign to get some traction, I think. If you look at what he did after his election, he seems like he's not racist at all, I think. But from what I can tell, I probably would have voted Hillary. I don't know much about US politics though. Yeah, if I get a choice to not vote, I don't vote. Like, voting is mandatory in Australia. We're forced to vote. If not, then we get like $15 or $100 taken away from us. It sucks. Yeah, Flakes is saying, all I know about American politics is that Trump revoked the environmental funding because, yeah, he thinks it's a Chinese hoax. Climate change is a Chinese hoax. Yep. I don't think he's a bright person. I just don't think he's a bright person. I don't think he's as clever as people say he is. I don't think so. I doubt it. Yeah, Flake says that America, due to its numbers, usually saves us from ourselves, but currently has a leader that thinks climate change is a big old myth. So we're stuffed. And Kuz is saying here, on average, it sucks for blacks, but I don't think they are discriminated because they're black, but because of other environmental aspects. If you want to count that, yeah, sure, blacks are discriminated. Hold on. Hold up. I'm trying to take that statement in. Fuck, my brain is way too slow. Right, okay. So you don't think it's a discrimination because they're black? Since there's so many other environmental shit is happening around them? So you're also counting in other races, right? That are suffering from the same problem? Like Mexicans, for example? Yeah, Kuz is saying Trump has to pretty smart, I think, based on what he did. He was very successful in many areas. He had his ups and downs, but overall I don't think he's dumb. Are you saying he won because of luck? He knew how to win. Huh? Fuck. He knew how to win the words over for sure. I'm saying he's dumb. And there's other dumb people. All I'm saying is There's other dumb people who voted for this dumb guy. That's all I'm saying. Not every one of us is, you know, very, very clear sounding, you know. Not everybody's like us who, you know, considers many different aspects and think of, you know. Fuck, I'm saying you know a lot. I need to stop that. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. There's a group of dumb people that voted for dumb president. And it just so happens that this dumb individual decided to use anger and provoke people to vote for him, who shares the same opinion that he is sharing. Did I say that right? Alright, so anyways, Flakes is saying, hi guys, I'm voting for the first time next month. Yeah, because Flakes is now legal. Flakes continues, he won because of Russian interference, or so it is, you know, accused, I guess. Allegedly is the word. Allegedly. Right? It's not really confirmed, is it? Yeah, Flakes is saying, majority went to Hillary. Yeah, and Koo says to Flakes, do you know how the voting system works? The majority doesn't matter. And no Russian interference was proven up to this point. Right. I believe him to be above average for sure, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Fucking... If he was so smart, he wants his presidency to last. He wants his legacy to be told throughout the history instead of pretty much putting a pillow over Earth's breath. If he was so egotistical and smart, that is. He would try to make Earth live longer, in my opinion. Yeah, so Flake says, ready Hillary's book. Huh? Reedy. You can't add Y to that! You can't add Y to that word! Right, so ready Hillary's book, Koos. Russian infiltration was proven. I don't trust what Hillary says. So in my opinion, I don't think that's a legit fact, what Hillary's saying in her book. Flakes. Not to burst your bubble, Koos is saying she wanted to start a fucking war. No infiltration was proven. She claimed that Hazardous is saying Russia interfered. That's proven. Koos is asking for source, and Hazardous says it's a debate whether he wanted them to. It's a debate whether he wanted them to. Yeah, alright. So Koos is saying I definitely needed a source on that. And Hazardous says the fucking FBI, dude. And Flake says they were behind Hillary's email leaks, responsible for like 2 million fake online posts and accounts, and bots that can all be routed back to Russia. Trump's son or something had meetings with Russian people, or like they funded him. And Koos says, do you want me to look through the FBI homepage now? I need a source on that. And Hazardous says, no dude, the Mueller report, you plum. It's just a debate whether or not he wanted him to help. We know they helped though. And Koos says, I read the Mueller report. Yeah, so what are you saying then? And Hazardous says, I'm not. Oh, you're not saying anything. Okay. So Flakes is saying, my mother read Hillary's book on audio in the car, so she recalled it to me. So that's how Flakes knows what was on Hillary's books. Yep. And Hazardous is saying, you just said that you didn't trust that Russia helped. Ah, sorry. You didn't trust that Russia helped. They did. Ah, fucking commas, guys. Commas! Use the commas! Holy shit! Oh my god! Alright, so Koos is saying, Flakes, you've already proven your ignorance, so all good. And to Hazardous, Koos says, yeah. And Hazardous says, oh my god. Flakes says, you know what? None of us are allowed to have any opinion on this matter except Hazardous. Right. So, okay, from what I can deduct from this entire discussion, You all need to listen to Snowden. Fucking go to Joe Rogan podcast and listen to what Snowden says. Cause he has all the information and he is fucking being chased by the government for a reason. He knows some stuff that, you know, nobody should know about. If, you know, government had their ways, I guess. I love it. This is what I live for. So Chris says, I say, huh? I said he didn't want it. He didn't win because of them. Hold up. Oh right. Yeah, Chris is saying that Trump didn't win because of Russia. Yeah. Okay. Right. Right, where are we? Yeah. Chris says my mom said so is a source that accepted up to 5th grade max. Flakes, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. You don't win an argument by getting angry. Alright, so as it says Koos is getting triggered. I think Flakes is getting triggered at this point now. Alright, so Hazardous is saying, someone get the fridge empty for the snowflake. Alright, so Koos is saying, nah fam, I'm good. Alright, so Flakes says, my mother recalled from the book written by the other person involved in that election. And to be honest, my mother's always right. Which is true. Alright, so Koos is saying, yeah, the political opponent said something. Well, that's no good source. Well, it may be biased. Koos is making a good point. Yeah, all I'm saying is listen to Snowden. Listen to Snowden. He committed a federal crime for the greater good for the people. And to prove that what he's saying is right, the government is after him. Yeah, Flakes is saying, okay, thanks for the reminder, need anger management. As this is saying, she kind of super corrupt. Yeah, and Koos is saying the Mueller report is, and it doesn't prove any actual impact on Russian interference. Which is also right, yeah. When Mueller was being interrogated is not the word. Like when he went to court for it, he said that he couldn't prove that there wasn't interference. You gotta be able to prove it to make it a crime. Yeah, Flakes is saying it's scary how often my mother is right. Yeah, and Goose is saying again Hillary wanted to start a war, I don't care about her. Flakes says I'm not listening to shit, Maru. Well, you can watch the highlights. You know, you can spare like 5 minutes, right? If you wanna know some facts, you gotta invest your time and attention. And that's the hard part. I understand how you feel. I understand. I had nothing else to do. That's why I listened to the podcast at work. Yeah, Koos is saying, I think not starting another dumb war is a good start. Hazardous is saying, Trump's gonna start a civil war when he loses. He's not gonna leave. And Koos says, the report proves interference, but no impact on the election. Right. Yeah. I thought we started from like races being discriminated. How did we get here? Where are we going with this? What the fuck are we talking about? This is some after party material. I'm not gonna do after party. Hell no. Yeah, Flakes is saying, I don't want to know about the US election. I don't know why I'm joining this battle. I know nothing. That's right. We all don't know nothing except for Hazardous because Hazardous is the only American here. No one knows anything. That's why it's a good combo. Yeah, this conversation pretty much sums up what, you know, online argument is. No one knows shit, but they have something to say about it. Yeah, this is it. This is what it is. Yeah, Flakes is saying now, if you wanted to fight about best mac and cheese in town, I am down. And Koos is saying, shush. Flake says, oh Koos, it's cute how hard you're trying to win this pointless conversation. And Hazardous says, hey Koos, who you like for the new prez if you care? Oh, I got removed. I got removed from Destiny. I'm still here. I'm still here. I don't even know why I'm here, but I'm still here. Alright, so I guess now's a good point to end it. If you're currently watching this on YouTube and you want to place your opinion in the comments below, do it! Because why the fuck not? If you have something to say, then say. Because majority of the people here checks out the video as well, so yeah, say something. Completely up to you though. Yeah, Koos is saying, I see what you're doing there. Calling me cute to remove my credibility. You underestimate my ninjutsu. Right. So yeah, we can do this all night, all day. It's 5:26 AM here. I need to wrap it the fuck up, guys. I need to end this.